But to me, that was kind of the time more of when Dipset was breaking up. And I still just wanted to do music at the time, you know. I think our beef, or not beef, whatever disagreements, breaking up kind of started going public. And I'm like, yo, I need to keep doing what I'm doing alive. So that's kind of how that Public Enemy mixtape came about. Me and Jim and Juelz publicly weren't on the same page. And then, you know, Jim and Juelz had a moment together where they were doing music with Ron Browse that turned out really great and everything else. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do this. So that's kind of when I built my studio.
Listen, hold up. They were dropping hits together, no question. But behind the scenes, Cameron was already moving like the Diplomats was finished. And this right here is where everything starts to flip. While Jim Jones and Juelz Santana were building momentum and putting out records people actually connected with, Cam was watching it all from a completely different angle. On the surface, it looked calm, no drama, no noise. But behind closed doors, the split was already real. Cam basically said they weren't aligned on anything, not creatively, not business-wise, and definitely not on a personal level. So instead of chasing what they used to have, he doubled down on himself. He went and built his own setup, recording everything his way. No big team, no polished engineering, just straight raw output to keep his name buzzing. Now listen, I'm about to let y'all hear this for yourselves, but before I do that, I need y'all to tap in, drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get into it.
When you go to other states, I mean, you know, technology's changed now, but when you go to other states and it's just radio, and let's just say you go to Alabama, you're not going to hear a bunch of New York on the radio in Alabama. And then when you go to the club in Mississippi, you hear a bunch of music that you're not going to hear in New York. So I was always paying attention to that. And I'm like, yo, it's eating outside of New York. It's a whole nother genre of music that doesn't give a fuck about what New York is doing. And Bone Crusher had one of them records that took off in the South. And I was happy to be a part of Remix. So that's kind of how it went.
Yeah, it was you and Jadakiss and Busta Rhymes on there. But like I said, the song still gets played. It's a real popular song. So I was wanting to know how y'all connected for that song.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how it went, but it's probably some label or whatever. But shout out to Bone Crusher for thinking about us and putting me on the record.
Absolutely. The Public Enemy mixtape. You had stopped doing music for a while. Was that the time where you moved to Florida and didn't want to be on the scene or whatever? Was you making that mixtape during that time? Or you shot back up and just knocked it out?
That was kind of before I went to Florida, like right before that. I did that whole mixtape when I first built the studio at the house, actually. That was the first thing. If you listen to that mixtape, it's mixed terribly. Songs are all over the place, the EQ. Shout out to my Will, Now What? We built the studio and he was the engineer, and not saying Now What is an engineer, but he's not a mixing engineer. And he was recording everything. Me, Now What, Prospect Pens and Tom Giss, A Mafia was on it. But to me, that was kind of the time more of when Dipset was breaking up. And I still just wanted to do music at the time, you know. I think our beef, or not beef, whatever disagreements, breaking up kind of started going public. And I'm like, yo, I need to keep doing what I'm doing alive. So that's kind of how that Public Enemy mixtape came about. Me and Jim and Juelz publicly weren't on the same page. And then, you know, Jim and Juelz had a moment together where they were doing music with Ron Browse that turned out really great and everything else. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do this. So that's kind of when I built my studio, and Will engineered the whole mixtape. And that's why when people love that mixtape, but if you listen to the levels, they kind of all over the place. But Will, you did better than I could have did. So shout out to Will, and I appreciate him and Prospect Pens and Tom Giss, A Mafia, Duke the God. We put together a real good mixtape, but that was before all that happened when I moved to Florida. This is when I first built my studio in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. What stood out? Soon as I heard that mixtape, The Roaches and the Chicken, I said, nah, this Cam is crazy, right? gotta hear the music after this. Like, I think it was like a double CD, right?
Yeah,
a double.
Yeah, we was knocking a bunch of songs sent out, but I know you took the skit on there. Was hilarious, man. Yeah.
Roaches and the chicken. Yeah, out of the core members, the four of y'all, what's your favorite song from each one? It don't have to be you on it. Or, like, when you think of their music, what's the first song that, like, your favorite song? Like, give me your favorite Zeke song.
My favorite Zeke song is Daddy's Back, Pause. Yeah, that's probably my favorite Zeke song. My favorite Jim song is probably This Is Jim Jones. And my favorite Juelz song is You're Gonna Love Me. So those are the three songs that I would pick from individually from them.
Listen, hold up. Everybody loves talking about the breakup, but not enough people really break down how Cam'ron actually moved when everything started falling apart. What stands out to me isn't just the tension. It's not even just the split. It's the mindset behind it all. Because if you really pay attention to how this played out, Cam was already thinking like a businessman while everything around him was getting shaky. And yeah, let's be real for a second. From his point of view, it probably did feel like a betrayal. You got Jim Jones and Juelz Santana building momentum together, dropping records, catching a real wave. And if you're Cam in that position, the one who helped build the foundation, it's easy to look at that and feel like things are moving against you. Now, whether that was actually the case or not, that's still up for debate. That's where fans get it twisted, because perception and reality don't always line up the way people think they do. But emotions, those are real. And in moments like that, perception becomes everything. What I respect, though, is how Cam handled it. He didn't crash, but he didn't waste energy trying to tear anybody down. He stayed locked in on control, ownership, and consistent output. That's a level of discipline a lot of artists never figure out. And here's a business angle people don't talk about enough. Artists who control their recording process and release strategy can keep a much bigger percentage of their revenue compared to traditional label deals. Now that right there explains a lot about why Cam moved the way he did. He wasn't just making music, he was protecting his brand. And that's something a lot of artists learn way too late. So let me ask y'all this. Do you think Cam was right to go solo and stay business focused? Or should he have tried harder to rebuild with Jim Jones and Juelz Santana? And looking back now, who do you think handled that Dipset split better in the long run? Cam'ron or the duo of Jim Jones and Juelz Santana? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.